Before we begin, take a deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. Feel the air move through your body. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the weight of this very moment. Because what you're about to hear is not just another lesson, it's an awakening. You see, 99% of women don't realize this truth, not because they are weak, but because they've been taught to forget who they are. The world has conditioned them to seek permission, to chase love, to doubt their own light. But you, right now, are standing on the edge of remembering. Remembering that your power is not in what you do, but in who you are. You don't need to chase, you attract. You don't need to prove, you already are. Your silence holds more strength than any argument. Your peace holds more beauty than any appearance. This truth, once remembered, changes everything. Because when a woman remembers her power, the world cannot handle her calm. Her energy shifts, her presence transforms. And suddenly, she no longer fits into the mold they built for her. She rises above it. This is your moment to rise too, my student, to remember what 99% of women have forgotten. Before we begin, take a deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. Feel the air moving through your body. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the ground beneath you. Let go of everything that happened before this moment and bring all of your awareness right here. Because what I'm about to share is not just knowledge, it is remembrance. 99% of women don't realize this truth, not because they lack wisdom, but because the world has carefully taught them to forget it. You see, my student, power is not something you gain. It is something you remember. The world does not take your strength. It distracts you from it. From childhood, a woman is told to be good, to smile when she wants to cry, to agree when she wants to speak her truth, to give endlessly, even when her soul feels empty. She learns to love deeply but is rarely taught to love herself the same way. She learns to serve but not to honor her boundaries, and over time, she forgets. She forgets that she was never born to fit into anyone's expectations. She forgets that she is both creation and creator. She forgets that within her lies an energy so powerful that it can nurture life or destroy illusion. The forgotten power of a woman is not her body, her beauty, or her charm. It is her presence. The quiet force that can calm storms without raising her voice. The intuitive knowing that can sense truth without evidence. The inner wisdom that guides her long before logic can explain why. But this world does not honor that wisdom. It fears it. So it teaches her to doubt herself, to question her intuition, to silence her voice, to make herself smaller so that others can feel big. And this is how she loses herself, not through failure, but through conditioning. But deep within every woman, there is a spark that never dies. It may grow dim, hidden beneath layers of self-doubt and heartbreak, but it never goes out. And one day, something happens, a betrayal, a disappointment, a loss, that forces her to look inward. For the first time, she stops seeking approval and starts seeking truth. She begins to ask, who am I beneath everything I was told to be? And that question, my student, is the beginning of awakening. When a woman remembers her forgotten power, everything changes. She no longer chases validation because she realizes she was always worthy. She no longer fears solitude because she discovers peace in her own company. She no longer seeks love to fill a void because she becomes love itself. The forgotten power of a woman lies not in doing more, but in being more, being aware, being aligned, being authentic. And when she reclaims that energy, she becomes magnetic, not because she tries, but because she is. Her presence begins to shift rooms, her energy begins to draw people in, her silence begins to speak louder than words, and men, especially those driven by ego, feel it deeply. They cannot explain it, but they feel it, because the energy of a woman who knows herself cannot be controlled, it cannot be manipulated, it cannot be dimmed. That is why, my student, 99% of women do not realize this truth. Because realizing it means remembering who they were before the world told them who to be. But once you remember, you become unstoppable, not by force but by awareness, not by fighting but by flowing. You no longer bend to fit into someone else's world, you create your own. And that, my student, is the beginning of true power. The power that does not shout, does not chase, and does not beg, but simply exists, quiet, certain, radiant, unshakable. That is the forgotten power the world fears, and the one you are destined to reclaim. The trap of validation. The greatest illusion the world has built for women is the belief that their worth depends on how others see them. From the moment a girl begins to grow, the world places invisible mirrors around her, mirrors that reflect not her truth, but society's expectations. She is told she must look a certain way, speak softly, behave politely, and never be too much. If she is strong, they call her cold. If she is emotional, they call her weak. If she loves herself, they call her arrogant. And slowly, she begins to live not as herself, but as the version that pleases others. My student, this is the trap of validation, the silent chain that keeps most women from ever tasting freedom. Validation feels comforting, doesn't it? It feels like belonging, like safety. But in truth, it is a cage built from fear, because when your happiness depends on being liked, you lose the power to define yourself. You start adjusting your words, your appearance, your energy, just to earn approval from those who do not even know your soul. You begin to confuse attention with love. But attention is temporary. It feeds the ego, not the heart. Love, on the other hand, needs no performance. It recognizes your essence without condition. Most women, however, have been conditioned to believe that attention is a sign of value. They post, they compare, they compete, hoping to feel seen. But here is the truth, my student. When you seek to be seen, you are telling the universe that you do not see yourself, and the universe mirrors that back to you. This is why no amount of likes, compliments, or validation ever feels enough, because it was never supposed to fill you. The emptiness you feel when you depend on validation is your spirit reminding you that your worth cannot be borrowed. It must be remembered. The woman who chases validation will always feel anxious, because her peace lives in someone else's opinion. But the woman who validates herself becomes untouchable. She no longer needs to prove her beauty. It radiates through her calm. She no longer seeks reassurance. It flows from her presence. Her energy becomes steady. Her eyes begin to shine differently. And suddenly, the same people who once overlooked her now can't stop noticing her. That is the paradox of validation. When you stop seeking it, you start receiving it, because people are naturally drawn to what they cannot control. A woman who knows her worth no longer vibrates from lack, she vibrates from abundance. And abundance is magnetic. Remember, my student, self-validation is not arrogance, it is awareness. It is the recognition that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. It is the quiet confidence of knowing that approval adds nothing to your value and rejection takes nothing away from it. The moment you stop asking, do they like me, and start asking, do I like how I show up? You begin to shift your reality. You reclaim your energy. You begin to attract not attention, but alignment. And that is far more powerful, because when a woman no longer performs for approval, she begins to live from truth. And truth, unlike validation, cannot be taken away. The trap of validation loses its power the moment you remember that you were never created to be understood by everyone. You were created to embody your own light. And the moment you start doing that, you will no longer chase the spotlight. You will become it. The power of stillness. In a world that moves fast, a woman who becomes still is not weak. She is dangerous. Because stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the mastery of it. It is the art of knowing when to act, when to wait, and when to walk away without a word. Most people mistake noise for power, but true power speaks in silence. My student, you must understand this. Stillness is not passive. It is a discipline. It is strength under control. The woman who can sit with herself without distraction has already defeated half of her battles, because the greatest storms are not outside, they are within. And when you learn to calm your inner world, no chaos around you can shake you. Many women live in constant motion, always doing, always fixing, always proving. But often, this endless activity is not strength. It is escape. Escape from loneliness, from fear, from the quiet voice inside that asks, "Who am I when I'm not doing?" But when you stop running and sit in stillness, the truth begins to rise. You start to see that your value was never in your productivity or your perfection. It was in your presence. Your calm energy becomes a mirror that reveals who others truly are. Those who are insecure will feel uncomfortable around it. Those who are genuine will be drawn to it. Stillness exposes what noise tries to hide. My student, when you become still, you begin to observe life instead of reacting to it. You start seeing patterns, how people behave, how energy moves, how your emotions shift. You begin to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. That is mastery. Stillness teaches you to stop begging for clarity from others, because silence reveals what words often confuse. When you sit in stillness long enough, your intuition grows sharper. You begin to sense when something is right or wrong without needing proof. This is a woman's inner knowing, her sacred compass. But most women lose touch with it because they drown in external noise. They overthink, they seek advice from everyone, they chase certainty, and in doing so, they silence their own spirit. Stillness, however, restores that connection. It brings you back to your center, where answers already exist. A woman grounded in stillness cannot be manipulated. She sees through charm, through games, through lies, because her intuition whispers louder than any sweet word. She doesn't need to argue or explain. Her energy speaks for her. And when she finally decides to move, her actions carry weight. The world feels her presence, not because she is loud, but because she is rooted. Stillness also teaches patience. You begin to realize that not every battle deserves your energy, not every comment deserves your reply, and not every person deserves your access. You conserve your peace, and in doing so, you multiply your power. This is the path of the wise woman, the one who no longer chases outcomes but aligns with timing. She trusts that what is meant for her will never need to be forced. Stillness gives her the courage to wait, the wisdom to know, and the grace to move when the moment is right. My student, when you master stillness, the world no longer controls you. You control your world. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You become the calm in the storm, the silence that speaks volumes, and the presence that shifts energy wherever you go. And that is the true mark of a powerful woman, the energy you give. My student, understand this truth. Every interaction in your life is an exchange of energy. What you give, you attract. What you tolerate, you invite. What you believe, you create. Most women do not realize how powerful their energy truly is. They think love is about words or actions, but love begins in vibration. It begins in what you carry within yourself before you even speak. If you walk into a room filled with peace, the space changes. If you walk in filled with chaos, confusion will follow you. Energy does not lie, it reveals you. And so the question is not, why do people treat me this way? But what energy am I sending out that allows this? When your energy is rooted in self-doubt, you attract those who confirm it. When your energy is rooted in self-worth, you attract those who respect it. The energy you carry becomes your silent message to the world. That is why healing is not about fixing others, it's about restoring your own vibration. You must stop giving from emptiness. Stop loving people who drain you. Stop investing in those who do not reciprocate your energy. When you begin to choose peace over proving, you shift your entire frequency. That is when people start to notice your power without you saying a word. Energy is subtle yet magnetic. When a woman moves with calm confidence, others feel it. She doesn't need validation because her energy validates her. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't explain, she embodies. This kind of energy is rare, and that's why it is respected, even feared. Men especially sense it deeply. When a woman's energy no longer depends on their approval, they become curious. When she no longer reacts to manipulation or flattery, they become confused. When she no longer needs them, but chooses them from strength, they become drawn, sometimes even obsessed. This is not a trick, it is the natural consequence of energetic balance. A woman who knows her worth radiates differently. Her silence speaks, her presence commands, and her boundaries protect her peace. To reach this level, you must purify your energy daily. Let go of resentment, because it poisons your frequency. Let go of jealousy, because it lowers your vibration. Let go of fear, because it clouds your power. Energy moves where your focus goes, so stop focusing on who hurt you and start focusing on who you are becoming. Every time you forgive, your energy rises. Every time you choose peace instead of drama, your vibration strengthens. Every time you walk away from what no longer aligns, your spirit expands. My student, the universe responds not to your words, but to your energy. Speak peace and live in chaos, and the universe will hear the chaos. Speak gratitude and live in bitterness, and it will hear the bitterness. But when your heart, your thoughts, and your actions align, that is when you become magnetic. That is when you begin to attract not from desire, but from destiny. Remember, energy never lies. You cannot fake vibration. People will always feel who you truly are before they understand what you say. So protect your energy like it is sacred, because it is. Give your time where it is valued, your words where they are heard, and your love where it is cherished. The energy you give today shapes the life you live tomorrow. Choose wisely. The art of emotional detachment. Student, understand this deeply. Emotional detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is mastery. It is the ability to feel everything deeply, yet remain unshaken. It is the strength to love without losing yourself, to care without being controlled, and to give without expecting in return. Many women confuse attachment with love, but attachment is not love, it is fear. Fear of losing, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. And fear will always create suffering. Detachment, on the other hand, brings freedom. It allows you to experience connection without surrendering your peace. The more you attach your happiness to someone else, the more power you give away. Because people change, emotions shift, circumstances evolve, but your peace must remain your own. When you detach, you reclaim control over your energy. You stop reacting to every word, every delay, every silence. You begin to observe without panic. That is when your presence becomes magnetic, because people are drawn to those who are calm in a world of chaos. The woman who detaches does not chase love, she attracts it. She does not beg for attention, she commands it through her energy. She no longer asks, "Why doesn't he love me?" Instead, she asks, "Why am I giving my energy to someone who doesn't see my value?" This question alone begins to shift everything. My student, detachment is not something you do once, it is a practice. Every day, you must remind yourself that your peace is not for sale. When someone tries to disturb your calm, take a deep breath and remember, you are in control of your inner world. No one can touch your peace unless you allow it. Detachment also means letting go of outcomes. Too many women live trapped between expectation and disappointment. They replay conversations, overanalyze behaviors, and try to control what cannot be controlled. But the moment you release the need to know what will happen, life begins to flow again. The universe rewards surrender, not struggle. When you detach from needing a certain person or result, your energy becomes lighter, freer, more powerful. And ironically, that is when what you desire begins to move toward you. Because desperation repels, while confidence attracts. Detachment gives you confidence, not arrogance, but inner certainty. You know that what is meant for you will never pass you by. You trust divine timing. You stop rushing the process. You stop forcing connections. You stop trying to fix people who refuse to grow. You simply stand in your truth, radiating peace, and allow what aligns to stay and what doesn't to fall away. This is emotional maturity. It's not about being unaffected. It's about being unshaken. It's about smiling even when someone tries to provoke you, walking away even when your heart wants to stay, and choosing silence when your ego wants to speak. Detachment is your shield. It protects you from manipulation, from disappointment, and from self-betrayal. It teaches you that losing someone is not the end. It is redirection. It is space being made for something greater. So my student, learn to detach not out of pride, but out of peace. You will find that the less you cling, the more life gives. The less you chase, the more you attract. And the less you react, the more powerful you become. This is the secret that 99% of women do not realize. True power is not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. Detachment is not the end of love. It is the beginning of real love. The kind that flows without fear, the kind that grows without force, the kind that stays without being held. When you master detachment, you no longer chase the world starts to chase you. The awakening of true power. My student, listen carefully. There comes a moment in every woman's life when she must awaken. Not from sleep, but from illusion. The illusion that her worth depends on how much she is loved. The illusion that she must shrink herself to be accepted. The illusion that peace will come from someone else's validation. When this awakening begins, it is not soft, it is fierce. It burns away everything false. It asks you to face your truth without fear. It asks you to stand tall in your own light, even when others do not understand you. Because awakening means stepping into power that cannot be taken away. True power, my student, is not loud. It is not about dominance. It is quiet, grounded, and radiant. It is the energy of a woman who has walked through pain, through betrayal, through disappointment. And yet, she still chooses love, not bitterness. She still chooses grace, not revenge. She still chooses peace, not chaos. That is strength. That is divine power. This kind of woman no longer fights for attention because she understands her presence is enough. She no longer explains her worth because her energy already declares it. She no longer runs after people who leave because she knows what is real will never require chasing. When a woman awakens, she becomes a mirror, showing others their truth. Some will be inspired by her glow, others will be threatened by it. But she will not dim her light for anyone. She will not lower her standards to be understood by those who refuse to grow. She will simply walk her path with calm assurance, knowing that the universe always rearranges itself in favor of those who live in truth. This is what most women do not realize. Awakening is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be, before heartbreak hardened you, before society conditioned you, before fear silenced you. You were born powerful, intuitive, radiant. That essence still lives inside you. You just forgot. Awakening is the process of remembering. It is peeling back every layer of pain and expectation until your soul can breathe again. And when that happens, everything changes. You stop trying to fit in because you realize you were never meant to. You stop asking for permission because you understand your existence is your permission. You stop doubting your path because you can finally feel your purpose guiding you. This is the transformation that shifts everything. My student, the awakened woman becomes magnetic not because she tries, but because she simply is. Her energy heals, her silence teaches, her boundaries inspire. She doesn't speak much, yet her presence commands respect. She doesn't chase love, yet love finds her. She doesn't seek revenge, yet karma protects her. The world bends differently for her, because she is aligned with truth, and truth is the highest vibration of all. This is the destiny waiting for you when you awaken. It does not happen overnight. It requires patience, self-awareness, and courage. But once you step into this space of inner alignment, you will never go back to the woman you were before. You will move differently, speak differently, and attract differently. You will understand that everything that once broke you was not meant to destroy you, but to awaken you. Pain was your teacher. Silence was your medicine. Stillness was your initiation. And now you rise, not as the woman who seeks approval, but as the woman who embodies peace. That, my student, is the highest form of beauty. The world may never fully understand you, but it will always feel you. Because once a woman awakens, her energy becomes eternal. She becomes unshakable, unstoppable, unforgettable. And that is the true secret that 99% of women never realize.